she doesn't need much of an introduction because she is instantly recognizable. In fact, it wouldn't be wrong to say that she personifies all that is associated with being a woman of today. She is an icon in the world of modeling, somebody who has an innate sense of style. She does not believe in resting on one's laurels and is regarded as being one of the pioneers of quality designer lawn fabric. Her personal involvement in her fabric has created a terrific buzz in the textile industry and amongst women of all demographics, and she's none other than Vaneeza Ahmed. And joining Vaneeza before we introduce her today is Amir Mazhar, a great champion of women's causes himself, as well as the man behind Savvy PR and Events. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good to have you guys here.
Yeah, this early in the morning.
Very early in the morning. Vaneeza, you wake up so early in the morning? I was surprised when you said yes.
I usually do wake up. I mean, not at 7, but I'm by 8:30.
And then you traveled also. It was very late last night.
Last night the flight was delayed.
So your journey, Vaneeza, is almost like a success story, a very apt story to be told on this day, International Women's Day. But we won't get into the nitty-gritties of it because I can see that you don't want to get into it. But how has it been?
Life's been great, mashallah. I've been very, very lucky. I have a mother who inspires me, and I think because of her strength, I have strength now. So, I mean, on Women's Day, I mean, what better to talk about than women being empowered?
That's
so
lovely.
I think I've been lucky that I've had a background, I've had a family who supported me all my life with whatever I've done.
And that is very important.
Extremely important.
Would that be true to say that that's very important, especially when you are a Pakistani in Pakistan or anywhere
Definitely.
in the world?
Anywhere in the world, but definitely because you're a Pakistani. Because here again, I mean, not women like us, but when you talk about the masses, I mean, women all over this country are not taken care of. In fact, it's the other way around. I mean, they're the caretakers, but when it comes to them, what can I say? I mean, a few days ago, I had gone to this shelter called Pana, and the stories I heard over there with what was happening with women, I mean, it was so sad that how they were thrown out of their homes because of either property or the husbands, and nowhere to go. I mean, whatever is happening, it's very, I mean, I get really distressed about it.
We obviously still have a very long way to go.
Yeah.
But do you think it's tough for only women in this country or the guys as well? And Amir, we'll come to you in just a bit and ask you as well.
Tough for guys? How?
Exactly, I don't know. But I mean, I know that it's tough for girls. So guys have it easy, girls don't.
Yeah, definitely. It's a man's world when it comes to Pakistan. I mean, when you talk about the masses, not women like us, huh? Not me, definitely not. Yeah,
we are not the masses.
It's because of the education, I think. It's only because of the education. I mean, you grow up, usually women grow up in this world thinking, or in this country thinking, when I grow up, what will you be? A dulhan. You know, that's it. Their aim in life is to get married. Their family's aim in life is for them to get married. When it comes to having a life, no.
And that's a very carefully orchestrated thing because our commercials, our TV, everything actually gears toward dulhan and shadi.
Yeah, for sure.
True, that's why.
So that
what do you think, Amir, guys have it easy?
Guys definitely have it easy in Pakistan, at least in even with the masses in the classes. Women over here have a different story altogether, with different circumstances. And a lot of women I've met over here, each one has a story to tell. And at the day end, these are the brave souls out there who are actually running the house, managing things, growing up, I mean, taking care of the children and going through a lot. So, I mean, growing up in a very male-dominant society, of course, guys always have an easy hand. And there's stories everywhere, from the classes to the masses, where the women of substance have actually gotten out and they've shown the strength.
In fact, now that I have you on the show, Amir, and obviously Savvy PR, we have had event management, companies on the show before, but none by a woman. There is nobody, at least not on my show, not in Lahore. I don't know, I haven't seen anybody.
There is only Free Altaf?
I mean, that would be
in Karachi. No one in Lahore.
Yeah, because suddenly I realized that I haven't had any woman from this field at all on our show.
Maybe, what about Lotus?
Lotus only does PR. She doesn't handle events.
Well, yeah. Selena actually, yeah, okay. Anyway,
they're more in Karachi. There's Amna Rashid also. There's Priya. There are a few more, maybe not in Lahore. I'm not sure.
Vinny, before the break, we had two other guests on the show as well, and one of them, by the way, brought these lovely cupcakes that you see here that we are going to start eating. I had one, but I'll have some more again. The lady there, Dr. Shella, she was telling us that women actually have it, in a sense, easier in this country because there is less competition. There are more fields to, not more fields to pick from, but you know, you can actually excel in a field because there will be less women.
Sure. I mean, when it comes to different professions, yes. I'm talking about women at home.
Yeah.
You know, of course, in professions, like I said, I don't feel it at all. I mean, I feel very empowered, actually, whatever I've done in my life, whether when it comes to the other profession, modeling and acting, but especially when it comes to my business. When I started, there weren't too many women around who were making textile, who were involved in textile at all. There were Savana Safinas and myself. So yes, of course, I mean, there are lots of ways to excel in different professions in Pakistan. But we're talking about the women who are sitting at home, the ones without the education, the ones that have to deal with the hardships of life that they are dealing with.
So basically, education is the key to whatever you want to do, even if that's modeling.
Yeah.
In fact, I think more
everything.
so.
You need to be educated to do anything, even to raise children, I feel. I mean, when it comes to being a housewife, education is very important because the children that you're bringing up, what you're teaching them, it's the woman, it's not the man. The man goes to work, the woman stays at home.
And we are seeing the repercussions now as well of the past generations where importance probably has not been given.
Yeah.
How has your experience been? I mean, I will not go back into the modeling days, but also now that you are a businesswoman, how is it dealing with other women, other men in the same field in business? Do they take an ex-supermodel seriously as far as business is concerned?
They take me seriously.
You take, okay, that's good. You have separated yourself from the rest.
Yeah.
Lovely. So
because even being a model or an actor, people do tend to forget it's just a job. I mean, what I usually say is if you are a banker, you put on a tie and a suit and you go to work. Just because I was a model or an actor, I would put on makeup and go to work again. So that does not mean that you don't have the brains. It's just a different way of working, you know. And then when it comes to acting, you do need the brains. So
true. But you have given a lot to the fashion industry of Pakistan, and we can't take that away. Because you are the face, you are the name that people, you know, identify
but I've
with.
evolved, I've progressed, I've moved on. It was something that was very exciting a few years ago, but hey, there's more to life and there's more that I can do now.
Absolutely. I mean, you are somebody that now people can and do actually look up to because, again, you have evolved and moved into a direction.
She's an icon, basically.
Absolutely.
You know, her name sells.
And could you have done what you're doing right now with your clothes? By the way, we'll be giving out some clothes as well. If you weren't a model and you didn't have that name?
I think so. I think I would have done it. I would have done it.
But did you know? Because I think that also came...
No, that came only because, yeah, that's true. The only reason I thought about Lawn is because I modeled for Lawn for so long. The launch of Sana Safinas, I was the face of Sana Safinas at the time. I did Al Karam for like 6-7 years. I did Gul Ahmed, I did 5-Star. I've done all those. So while modeling for them, I think about like, okay, how about doing prints that I want to wear? Because nobody was doing that. So I think that's where the idea came from.
And I'm sure there must be some times when you didn't like what you were wearing.
Most of the time.
There you go.
Most of the time. I mean, even now, after seeing my prints for 6 months, you know, I turn around and say, wish I could have done something more different, you know. So yeah, you're never satisfied with what you do. But yes, while I was modeling for other mills, I did think that there was room for more designs because the design sense that I have, I feel, because usually in Pakistan it's just print, and all over the world, if you look at fashion, you have to break that print somewhere.
Absolutely.
And nobody was doing that, so I thought, okay, why not do something that I like to wear. So hey, I designed for myself.
Oh, by the way, let me also tell you, Vaneeza is wearing her latest print. She's here with an exhibition of the Lawn, and we shall be talking about it in just a moment. But Amir, I want to take this opportunity to ask you, what kind of women have you dealt with in your life, especially in the workplace?
I've dealt with a lot of business entrepreneurs, these women in fashion, these women who have launched different, let's say, retailing business, food business, and I've dealt with a lot of, let's say, models and other people that we employ with for our work, and you know, everyone was brave, everyone had the confidence, and everyone was out there making and achieving what they believe in. I mean, making their ends meet, achieving, and you know, a lot of these women were actually supporting the houses, not their own, but their families.
True,
Even in my business, although it looks very glamorous and very, you know, these fashionistas slash models, all that, but everyone had a story to tell.
So you had the real stories about what a struggle it is.
Yes.
That is so true.
Dealing with them. Sorry.
Struggle, I'm not too sure. I mean,
But
for some
Vaneeza,
of us
हमने
it's-
अपने आप को तो वैसे ही निकाल दिया ना. Maybe it was probably easy. for
Yeah,
people like-
I mean, again, when it comes to fashion and all, I think in Pakistan it's not so much of a struggle. It's an easy job, really. I mean, because the market, like you said, this lady before was saying,
Lekin
that professionally there's not a lot of struggle because the market is so small, the industry is so young that there is room for everyone. There's not much of a struggle, is there?
No, but generally, I mean, a lot of these women, they generally come in even at models. How many make it after that year? That's the whole point. I mean, every year, let's say there are 20 new models out there who make it, talking about fashion. Let's say there are 10 new designers being launched every 6 months. Let's just put it in Lahore. How many make it at the end?
The ones that are talented make it. The ones that are not talented
and hard
need to struggle.
working and a little bit of luck involved there.
Yeah, and some opportunities, being there at the right time, at the right
so
place.
then it all actually culminates into a little bit of a struggle. When he
Well, if
doesn't
you're not
like the
talented,
word-
I say if you're not talented, of course
You're
you're
not
going to
going
struggle,
anywhere.
of course. But if you are, because if you look at all the new designers coming from the fashion school that have the aesthetics, that have the sense, are not really struggling because there is room for just about everyone now.
The pie is big enough to have the
Yeah,
slices. Is that,
absolutely.
you know, you need to have faith and trust in yourself.
Even when it comes to models or actors, I mean, there's so many channels now, there's so many magazines now, that I don't think anybody who's talented is really struggling. There's so much
find
out.
work at
Yeah,
least.
of course.
But how far they will go, that remains to be seen. Again, how talented they are, I guess. But talking of talent, I think we should talk about your clothes and your designing and everything. And one example, I would say, is right in front of you. She's wearing one of her designs. And Vinny, do you sit and do you design everything yourself? How does it work
Well,
out?
nearly. I mean, when I started, I figured, because I didn't even, at that time, I only knew how to switch on a computer. And my sister had made my email account, and my sister makes my Facebook account. I'm not very good at that. I'm not so savvy. but when the first year, I did have a team of people helping me out, and I tell them, "Ke nahi, acha, you know, fix the flower or make the leaf a little larger." Then I realized that, hey, I can't depend on these people. I need to do this myself. So I sit down. I've learned how to do Photoshop myself. And what I do is I do get inspired by a lot of things around the world, a lot of designers around the world. Like this time around, I have a print which is, I was inspired by Kenzo. I love Kenzo. I love his prints. He's a Japanese designer. So I named the print Kenzo, and it comes from him. So it could
So
be.
it must be very
I do
floral
sit down.
if it's-
yes,
it's Kenzo.
exactly. It
Yeah.
is very floral, and I do sit down. I get inspired. Like the one I'm wearing right now is from. It's an Italian design. It's a grill design.
Grill design?
Yes. You know.
I'm so glad. I have pictures of different grills with light passing through because they have very
Yes,
nice.
they're beautiful ones.
I call it
They're
Kashida
beautiful.
Kari, but anyway,
yeah,
it looks very
absolutely.
nice.
Yeah, I mean, they're fancy names for everything. But when I was in Rome a few years ago, I mean, the architecture is beautiful.
Amazing.
So, I mean, I saw a few things, picked up a few things, and this is one of them. So this year, the theme is nearly from all over the world, like I have, because when you go look into trends of the year, you see a lot of tribal prints, you'll see a lot of ethnic prints. So I
true.
picked up a Japanese print, a Chinese one, an Italian one, Pakistan, Desi.
How many
you know,
prints in total?
20.
20 prints
20
in
prints
total. And
with
different
3
colors,
colorways.
summer colors.
3 colorways, yes.
16 on.
Yeah.
And Amir, you are organizing obviously
Yes.
the event in Karachi and Lahore.
Lahore.
and
I'm taking care of the
you're
Lahore launch.
taking care of Lahore, and I think that's a major, huge market as well. We are going to be sorry, giving away the 3 dresses that Vaneeza has brought. And where? Okay. These are the 3. You can appreciate the designs. We'll put up some pictures if we can on our Facebook page. You have to answer a very simple question, and this can be yours, one of them. What's the question? About the
the names of the prince. Okay.
No,
let's ask
that is
them the
very
names.
tough. Come on, you have to make it easy.
They're not so difficult. I just told them 3 of them. Achha, okay, fine. Maybe not the names. Okay. Tell me what the theme is.
Okay, theme is also tough because even I can't answer that. Bhul gaya mujhe. How about who is the brand ambassador of Vlon? How simple could it?
Can I answer and take one back home?
No, you cannot. Sorry, I already answered there. How about how many prints has Vaneeza come out with this season? We just mentioned it a while back.
Sure.
And how many colors?
Basically, we are willing to just give these away. Whatever you want to answer, you can, because we would love you to wear. Yeah, you can compliment Vaneeza, and you know the best compliment, and we shall be giving her. But that we'll decide.
That works out for me better.
I think that is good. Everybody's happy with that. Next year, more designs.
Yeah, of course.
Flourishing into, moving into other textiles, maybe fabrics, chiffon.
We've done that this year.
Okay,
we did pure chiffon also this year. I did a lot of embroideries which I haven't done, and I did shoes and bags this year that you may not see in Lahore, unfortunately, because we kind of run out of them. But yes, I've done chappals.
Why didn't you influence her that this is much needed in Lahore?
I'm hearing for the first time.
I know, because everything was so late because of the Karachi strikes, and so many things were happening, and the stocks came in much later.
So these are yours?
Yes, and the ones that I'm wearing right now, they kind of worked with every
Can you get it? Because this is beautiful colors.
So nice. Yeah, you can change the strap and have different colors.
So they come with different straps?
No, the suit that you buy, you take out the kapra from the side and you make it into a matching thing.
Are you admiring your feet?
No, I'm trying to see kyun nazar aa raha hai, and I just realized they're blue. No, the reason I wore blue is because you could see them then.
And it's a good contrast as well. But anyway,
so you can buy your suit, take out a kapra and have a matching shoe every day.
Lovely, very genius. It's a great idea. Okay, so I'm sorry the shoes are not available here in
but they're available
Lahore.
In Karachi.
They're available in Karachi. The exhibition is going on right now in Lahore and Karachi as well at the same time. And Islamabad, all at the same time.
Peshawar, yes.
And Peshawar, why? How could I?
And Multan.
And Multan as well.
Faisalabad.
Faisalabad.
Yes.
अच्छा ये सब कुछ I'm going to put it up on Facebook. I had no idea कि इतनी जगहों पे है. Great, because by the way इससे पहले जो आए हैं it was Karachi, Lahore and Islamabad. So that's
because the market is huge. You've got to understand, especially in the Punjab, you wear lawn for a very long period of time.
That's true. Vaneeza, thank you very much. I'm sorry, we are short on time. We didn't even get to eat our cakes, but we got to run now. And best of luck.
Thank you.
Hello, welcome back, and take your seats please, because we are going to take a break from all the lawn joras we have been fussing over incessantly over the past few days and move on to TMS's preferred topic any day, which is music. There's a famous saying which goes something like this: a painter paints pictures on canvas, but musicians paint their pictures on silence. And what beautiful harmonies come out of that. When I think of music in Pakistan, and I'm talking about the music that I grew up on, 3 rather good-looking faces come to my mind, and one such face is with me in the studio right now. Not just a face, but a talent bomb as well. Shehzad Hassan of Vital Signs. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you here, and welcome to Lahore, as I always say.
Thank you so much.
There is life after Vital Signs.
There is definitely life after everything. You know,
of course. Yeah, but when we were growing up, I remember Vital Signs was the biggest thing. And, we see musicians these days and stuff. They have a shelf life, and then they become obscure. You don't know where they go. But you've been there.
You see, it depends. If you stay idle and not be an ideal, so it's basically probably your professionalness, or maybe your career-wise, or your creativity dies away. But if you stay a student and keep learning,
True.
Don't think you're a master of everything. So you keep learning, and I think you progress throughout life.
Shehzad, music was your true calling always. I know that you discovered it in your teen years. You picked up the guitar in your teen years, and it has been since. All you do has to do with music.
You see, it wasn't really, actually, to be honest. Music was more like a hobby for me. Like, since I was very young, and, you know, I was always, you know, sort of inspired by musicians, and, you know, all the young kids are generally. So, but, you know, when I picked up the guitar, you know, and learnt, you know, we are all self-taught, so ek dusre se chord seekh liye, you know, and stuff like that. We used to teach each other things, and we used to take out, you know, figure out songs of, you know, international artists, local artists, and play them. So it wasn't really, you know, like in my family or anything, you know. In fact,
Wo gharana and piche se and all that.
Absolutely.
Not that.
And initially, when we started working on music, so our families started looking down on us a little, you know.
Kya ho raha hai?
Marasi banna hai kya?
I know that is such a classic line, which is, please, sad at the end of the day.
And I don't know why it's labelized like that. But I think music is something, it inspires you, it keeps you healthy, it keeps you young, it's food for you.
And it keeps you going as well. I mean, as I was saying, you are still in it, you're still in the business, you are still making music, producing music, everything has to do with music. Does it, do you ever feel that the fact that you did not learn it per se, can you read music, by the way?
No, I can't read it.
You can't read. It doesn't hamper, you know, your growth or your potential at all.
You see, there are two types of musicians worldwide. There are ones who can read, write, and then there are ones who play by ear. You know, they have the musical sense by ear. So a lot of big artists like Beatles weren't musically taught. You know, they weren't musically.
They weren't trained.
They weren't trained. And, you know, a lot of other big artists, you know, they play by ear.
That's true.
So,
and besides, we don't have any institutions here. We don't have any which could actually train somebody. It's mostly by the ear.
It's mostly by the ear, but we do have institutions in Karachi, like this NAPA. This very good academy in Karachi. They are teaching people, and some very refined talent has come out of it. And some of the people I keep working with also. So ऐसी बात नहीं है. अब slowly start हो रहा है. You know, as long as we take music as a field, as an industry, I think उसमें कोई problem नहीं होनी चाहिए कि people should say.
I'm glad that you took the term industry, because that's what I want to come to and ask you. You know, Vital Signs was there, Junoon was there, a couple of other bands came up, Awaz. I want you to give us a little bit of a comparison between the music that was, that people still listen to and they actually, you know, I don't know, reminisce about it, and music of today. And I know that you are making some great music as well, but if you could give us a sense of, you know, comparison, whether things have gotten better.
Like how it was and how it's now?
Yeah.
It's very simple, you know. In those days, since I am producing music, a lot of artists come to me for productions, and I sometimes gauge them. I'm not saying all, but in those days, music was more for the love of it, you know, for the passion, for people weren't really interested in making a lot of money and being recognized.
Or having that rock and roll lifestyle or something.
Absolutely, there was a charm to it, you know, there was a charm to it. We used to sort of, it was not because we wanted to be famous or you know, maybe become famous and do good in our businesses.
True.
So, ab zyadatar log jo aage hain, they are more like capitalist type of people, you know, who are trying to be famous through music, so to benefit their own businesses. They have money, they have talent, some of them, but they don't really utilize it for music only. They do it to, you know, sort of be famous, very famous suddenly, and maybe get recognition.
You're very right, because that actually, at least to me, and I'm not a musician, but I am a music lover, and that becomes very evident when you listen to that music as well, that their soul probably is not in it. It's like a short-term thing. It's like a shortcut to become famous, maybe, something like that. I don't know, I see that happening.
When you do music for the love of it, fame, money, whatever you're looking for comes with it, you know.
True.
So it's a package.
And it has been very good for you guys. I think if somebody had to go by example of, you know, how a musician should be or how their music should be, it would be Vital Signs. I mean, people still talk about it. Nothing probably has stayed in people's memories as Vital Signs has.
I thank you so much. I mean, that's very encouraging to know still that we were able to produce some music. Well, it was a, you know, it was a team effort. You know, it was Junaid's voice. It was, you know, our music, it was Shoaib Mansoor's lyrics,
Of course.
which are still alive, you know. And some of his lyrics were so advanced in those days that as a kid I could not understand them.
Yeah, I can imagine. They were very profound, deep
They were very profound.
as well.
They were very simple, but yet, you know, they had a lot of meaning, you know.
And everything just gelled together. Yes, you're right about the lyrics, the compositions, the voice. All of you were very finely tuned, I think. I would call them the Beatles
You see,
of
because
Pakistan.
we were friends first. As we grew up in the same city, you know, we grew up in Pindi, all three of us, and Pindi is a very small place, you know, everybody knew each other like a big neighborhood. So when we started making music, so we all really knew each other, you know, and from
That
before.
helped as well.
That did help.
And that friendship has, of course, stayed on too.
That friendship has stayed on, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so when I have musicians, other musicians on the show, I always ask them, you know, can you live off it? Is there money in the business? And you, of course, is an example that we've seen flourish in the business. I think, again, it has been your true calling. Is there anything else that you could rather have done if it wasn't for music?
No, not really. I mean, there were things that I was doing and my parents wanted me to be in, you know, just as a safeguard, they used to say, you know, I mean, I know you're doing something, even when we were famous and when we were doing shows. So they all wanted us to finish our studies at least. But because you see, generally people like to take the safe road for their kids, you know.
Of course,
and
of course.
Of course, because they care about them. I probably feel the same way. But the thing is, till you take a risk, you know, there is not much gain. I mean, if you take a risk, then only then you can sort of, you know, separate yourself from the herd and be something of your own, you know, and maybe create something new. So till you actually do it, you don't know how easy or difficult it was. We sort of think about something, yeah, itna kaun karega, you know, whatever. It's very tough. I'm doing whatever I'm doing. So most people think like that. And they subscribe to this very herd mentality of thinking, even about their career.
Just follow. अगर किसी ने कुछ कर लिया तो बस वो follow करना start हो जाओ. I have to tell our viewers here that this is quite an exclusive interview of Shehzad Hassan because he doesn't really do many interviews, much TV.
No,
Why is that? You are a public figure, but you have been quite, what can I say, behind the scenes.
You see, since my teenage, I've been in front of live audiences playing music. So I'm not a very good speaker. I mean, I don't consider myself.
You are pretty good.
Thank you. So.
You're doing a good job here. In fact, I'm going to make you work on that as well by asking you to tell us about your latest project because I know that you are collecting some masters, musics and compiling it. Do tell us about that.
This is more of an audio engineering project rather than music. It's, of course, it involves music, but not of my own. A few years ago, I had a realization, you know, because I went to a couple of classical music shows, pure Eastern classical, rag-based, not semi-classical, like
not ghazals.
Not ghazals.
This is like
pure rag-based classical music. So I noticed that the artists, you know, although they were so good, and I was very impressed. I was, you know, I used to listen to classical music as a kid, so it's always in our blood, you know. In those days. I'm talking about there used to be great artists like, you know, Malka Mosiki, Roshna Begum, and the likes, you know, who were like heavyweights in the subcontinent, you know, in their own times. So I realized that it's very, you know, their conditions and their sort of financial conditions are very, very, you know, they're in a bad shape because their kids are not really going and following the family tradition.
Their footsteps. They are not into music. Basically.
They're not into music. They're कोई mechanic है, कोई fusion music करने की कोशिश कर रहा है, कोई किसी band बनाने की कोशिश कर रहा है, you know, just to you know, stay in the, you know, to survive.
To survive, basically. Yeah.
So anyway, so I decided with some of my partners and that you know, we should record them and produce a box set, you know, of the classical music of the prevailing artists जो भी रह गए. And there are very few, believe me, and some of them are, you know, कुछ बहुत बेचारे, they're very old, and some of them are leaving music, you know, because they can't survive. So anyway, we produced this box set. It's a beautiful, you know, piece of work, and I did a lot of research on how to capture classical music. I brought in a lot of, you know, high quality equipment, recording equipment, and mics and different techniques I learned. And some I innovated because Eastern classical music, you know, the instruments are not really recorded right by the Westerners, you know. They don't really know those
because they don't know the sound of it.
They don't know the nature of it because Eastern classical instruments are very, you know, very ambient. They generate a lot of harmonics. You know. Some of them you can capture close by, some you can capture from a distance, you know. Because if you play a tanpur in this room, it actually starts ringing after like 5-10 minutes of playing.
Okay.
It doesn't sort of start ringing from the word go. Your whole room will sort of get filled in with it. It's very strange. You know, they're very old instruments, but then they were very profoundly, very advanced for even today, you know.
This is so interesting, by the way. I mean, I do feel like I'm sitting with a true musician, because these are the things that nobody has ever explained so well. This is interesting. So you are working in the capacity of a producer, and you are obviously making it, you are also preserving it in a sense as well. Why is it that these artists have been sidelined? There is no appreciation for it. I mean, it's hard for me to believe that there would be no, appreciation in Pakistan.
To be honest, I mean, I'm not blaming people, because as the times are advancing and progressing, we have little time, you know. I mean, your phone is ringing, you are busy, your job is too demanding, you're too busy surviving. So classical music, it belongs to, you know, an era of our heritage, that when people had a lot of times, when there were no CD players, no tape recorders, no television. So, and how do you listen to music? Either you sing or I sing.
Yeah, live music.
You know what I mean?
True.
That is the only way you would listen to music. So that's why this music is so refined and so good. And the artist had to be so good that, you know, people could bear him.
Yeah, there are no retakes at all.
There's no retakes.
The first time is the time you do it, right?
See, as I said, there's no CD, you can't skip it.
True, true.
So each rag, when normally they play, can go on for hours even, if they want, you know. But generally, what I've done is I've divided it, you know, uska jo initial portion, I've divided it so that if people don't want to listen to a certain portion, they can skip it, you know. But it again, after I recorded it in a very high quality, you know, and it sounds great. Because generally what you hear of classical music from the market, jo tape ships aapko milti hai, CDs milti hai, they are horrible quality. They are recorded with the most substandard equipment, or their most live recordings in halls. Absolutely, in halls and auditorium which are not well equipped, you know, with acoustics and everything. So they sound horrible. But when you record them with the quality we usually record the pop music with, it sounds brilliant, you know.
Interesting. Tell me, these artists also, obviously there are some big names there. Are they all alive? How did you take out their recordings, re-record them? How do you go about that?
I re-recorded them.
Everything?
Everything, yeah. I recorded about 42 artists. Just, it's a preservation effort, you know, for me. And whatever it generates is going to go into more projects and shows for them. You know what? How
it's like an ongoing project.
Yeah. How do you help somebody by sort of, you know, presenting his art, by marketing it?
Absolutely. That's very noble, by the way. I mean, obviously there is this thing that you are doing. You're preserving it for generations to come, but that's a noble thing to do.
Thank you so much.
As well.
But I think it's my duty, because, you know, this country has given us so much. So this is my way of giving something back, you know.
Absolutely. And I must mention here that I was in India at one time, and we were invited, some journalists were invited by the Indian government, and when we were leaving, they presented us with a CD, a collection of their classical artists as well. And I'm really into music, and I was very impressed that they had something to give to foreigners.
See,
I don't know if we would have the same thing.
And they cherish it. You know, when you go to a store in India and ask them for some Filana Pandit ki CD, so they look at you, why would you want to listen to this? You don't really look that refined.
True,
you know? So
true.
over here, you know, I saw so many people coming to the show, when there was this big sort of, you know, event, yearly event. So there were a lot of people, all from good gharanas, you know, people who have money, people who are coming in their, you know, huge limos and, you know,
Are you referring to the all music conference?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've been to one as well.
Not here, I'm talking about Karachi. It used to be a huge event.
Okay.
So, but none of them is helping them out. I mean, they say wah 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 karte hain, and they farmaishe karte hain. And they're talking about rags as if, you know, as if they've invented it. And I was sitting in the middle of them, I was like looking at them. Then suddenly, when the time came to end the show, the artists were like, you know, herded into a van. They were going to drop karo. You know what I mean? So
I know.
And these guys.
और वो बड़ी एक embarrassing situation भी होती है, और I can imagine एक almost गुस्सा भी चढ़ता है कि you come and you listen to them.
It was very frustrating actually. So I said, I mean, why should I go after somebody? Let me do something. And plus, you see, the thing is, it's very unfortunate that these artists spend their lifetimes perfecting the art, and they are treated like, you know, worse than, I don't know, I don't really want to say the word, but they're treated really badly.
Yeah.
And उनकी सुनने तक इज्जत है, उसके बाद they don't know where they go.
I mean, वो हालतें तो हम देख ही रहे हैं. So many artists, even actors हमारे पुराने and our musicians, sometimes they don't even have money to take care of, you know, their medical bills. They can't do that as well. I mean, they have devoted their life entertaining you, and this is their end.
There's this very dear friend of mine, Mr. Awan Saab. He has a NGO, especially he's made. It's called Tezi Foundation, who are also very good associates. He actually does that. He literally koi bimar ho jaye, he provides transportation and takes them to the hospital, pays for their whatever medical bills. He's actually helping them out, and I've helped them out.
So there are individuals, of course, one in front of us, he's sitting here. We are showing you some pictures here of Shehzad Hassan, and these are pictures from a magazine, Cream International, which will be coming out, I think, soon, next week.
That's very embarrassing, actually. I'm not that angry.
But that's quite a look that you have given. What are you trying to say here?
I have no idea. It's, the producers of this shoot, they asked me to...
All right. Anyway, great. So for things that you might miss on this show, well, this magazine is coming out, Cream International, an exclusive interview of Shehzad Hassan in that. I'm going to come to your work with other artists as well. You have worked, with Atif Aslam and Rahat Fateh Ali Khan. Rahat Fateh is a big name. You were working in for that Indian movie Pop as well.
Absolutely.
And that, I think, at least to me, Rahat Fateh's song in that, actually, that is how Rahat, emerged for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how did that, you had spotted him already, and, this is the next person?
No, I'll be honest to you. I mean, I'll be honest. I'll tell you the story how it is. In the, when Imran Khan was, raising funds for his cancer research hospital, so there used to be a lot of artists who helped him out, including ourselves as Vital Signs, and then we used to tour with, mostly we used to tour with Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan sahab.
Of course.
So it was a great experience. We toured in America, in UK, in Asia with him, and it was an honor for us to open for such a great artist. So Rahat used to be a young kid sitting on his left side and screaming his head away.
He had that very shrill voice. I remember that. It used to stand out.
So anyway, since I got to know Fateh Ali Khan sahab personally, so I requested him, could we sort of sit together maybe one day and do an album, like a fusion album? Because Peter Gabriel had done an album with him.
Of course, yes.
So we were very inspired by that, those few albums that he had done, and then of course there was a soundtrack he worked on. So he said, sure, he was a true artist, So anyway, the year was about 98, 99 when I was supposed to work with him. Unfortunately, he passed away. So me and a friend of mine who sort of was coordinating with me on this, we said, like, what should we do? I mean, what do we do now? Because I was really looking forward for this album.
And that was quite untimely and shocking as well,
absolutely,
his death.
Absolutely. So anyway, so I suggested, how about if we work with Rahat? So we said, sure, why not? So anyway, we contacted Rahat, and they weren't in a very good situation. Very depressed, because generally for these type of families, one person is earning for a lot of people.
Absolutely, true.
There's a big family behind them, there's relatives, so he sort of provides for the whole family. So anyway, we contacted Rahat, and he came over, and we sort of brainstormed, and I found him to be very creative. It was a pleasure to work with him, although he was unknown. A lot of people criticize us, why are you working with him? There's no scope
unknown
here.
And unassuming as well. You probably wouldn't, by just looking at him,
completely unassuming.
You wouldn't expect him to have that kind of a voice and that kind of a throw.
True. So anyway, so this song I recorded in 98, 99, when we were jamming with him. I recorded a lot of other songs which are still lying with me. I haven't released them. So some very good songs in there. And whenever me and Rahat we get together, we sort of sit down and listen to it. So I recorded this in 98, 99. And it was lying with me, till Pooja Bhatt, she heard it.
Oh, okay.
And she said, what
she
is
was
this?
the producer of that movie.
That particular movie, and Mahesh, her father, he wrote the movie. So she said, what is the song? I mean, and I would, who are these guys who produced this? So anyway, her husband, Munna, we call him Munna. So he said, they are my friends in Islamabad, in Pakistan, they produced this. So she said, can we sort of ask them to, sort of give the song for the movie?
movie.
So they contacted me and they said, I said, sure, why not? You know, because this was just lying there. It's been years since it's been lying there. This is, I'm talking about 2002, 2003 में जाके उन्होंने.
अच्छा, ये भी बड़ा एक interesting footnote I want to ask you. When you make that music, you know it's that good. It's lying there until somebody else initiates to pick it up. Would you not rather want
it's
to?
Surprising. You see, this album we even sent to Real World Records, which was Peter Gabriel's company.
Achha,
And
okay.
and you know, it was a very strange email I got from his secretary, who was producing another local artist, Rahat's cousin, you know, and she said, look, this album is very good, but we don't want it. I said, what? Why wouldn't you want it if it's good? You know, that's so strange. She said, look, I'll be kicked out of my job because I'm producing something which is not even half as good. And they spent about £2 million on that.
Oh, okay.
So, and that was such a strange email, and me and my partner were like just looking at each other, like, what kind
ये
of...
तो कोई reasoning ही नहीं है.
ये क्या reasoning है, you know? So, I mean, that is actually, should I call it honesty? Should I call it, you know, what
Too
should I call
brutal
it?
honesty, I would call it.
Exactly.
We don't have much time, but I do want to touch upon a few things. Now, we have been asking our viewers, you know, there are so many Indian, Pakistani mixed, you know, projects going on. Indian artists are endorsing Pakistani projects, Pakistani artists are working in India. Some people like it, some don't. I just want to have your views on that.
I think in a field of art does not really know any borders, whether be it music, be it paintings, be it any sort of field of art. I think if they find, it's so sad, I mean, I'd like to say this on, you know, on here, that when I produce music, my own music in Pakistan, it gets pirated. When I release it in India, I get money. So why shouldn't they? You know, our government should do something with it.
I like that. I like that.
Nobody
reasoning.
really, you know, a friend of mine recently quoted, nobody really owns the field of music. You know, if I try and do something, कि नहीं यार copyrights करेंगे, 3 भाग के चले जाएंगे वहाँ से. We sell out each other, you know. We're not really sincere to our own professions.
और फिर बीच में, I'm sorry, but I have to put this in. बीच में आप government की भी तो जरा issues देखें ना. Now they are saying that all artists who ever go out to perform or to study or whatever, उनको they'll have to have an NOC from the government. My point exactly, but
because
this is...
what is the government doing for you know, their survival? Like the only way an artist makes money here is through shows. They don't get royalty.
And there are no shows here either. I mean, अब तो कोई perform भी नहीं कर रहा. अब तो कोई performances
So why
भी
are
नहीं
they
हो
putting this limitation on them? That is very cruel. That is very unfair.
Okay, I would have loved to talk on this, but we do want to show a couple of pictures here. But these are Shehzad's pictures. Now we have to show you pictures which have been taken by Shehzad because he has a passion for photography as well. So here are some of the pictures. So this is an alternate. You think you might do this as a second career as well, or this is just a hobby?
No, actually, as long as it stays my passion, I think I'll be.
But Shehzad, you've done well with your hobbies. You said music was your hobby. You've done a great job with it. Photography could be another. I love this. Nice colors.
That's my sitar. Somebody made this for me.
Oh, that's your sitar. Okay, cool.
That's not my shoe. I would like my...
And what exactly is that, by the way?
This is a Chokandi graveyard in Karachi. It's a very 500-600 years old graveyard.
See, things that you discover. You talk to one person
images
and...
from, you know, my life and wherever I go. I travel a lot actually. And I go out a lot to the beach, as you can see. And I like perfumes.
Yeah, we get a snapshot of your life as well. Shehzad, thank you very much for coming here. It was a pleasure having you and quite an honor as well, because I know that you are a quiet man. So we made you speak. We made you talk. Thanks a lot for coming over. That's Shehzad Hassan from The Vital Signs for you. And yeah, dwell in that. We are going to see you in just a little while. Hello, welcome back. I hope that you enjoyed that little chat that we had with Shehzad Hassan before the break. I at least did. I've been a fan for a long time. Okay, quotation time for you guys, and this quote has come from the iconic supermodel Cindy Crawford. If you guys remember her from the 80s, I do. And this is something that she said. I thought that made real good sense. The face you have at age 25 is the face God gave you, but the face you have after 50 is the face you've earned. Very nice, very interesting, very deep as well. Think about it, and I liked it. Yeah. Vocabulary enhancements coming your way now. Today's word has been sent by Muhammad Hassan Khan from Peshawar, who says he read it in an article on the calamity in Japan. So yeah, roll drums please. The word of the day is detract. Detract is the word. Detract means to take away a part as from quality, value or reputation, or to draw away or divert or distract. Good word, I think. Here's the sentence that came along with the word. New Zealand's Prime Minister said a rescue team would be sent to Japan, but this would not detract from efforts at the scene of last month's earthquake in Christchurch. Take care, be safe, seize the day.